Welcome to Devlog 1 of Chaos Magic Trial. I don't know what I'm calling this. Ignore the card back. I really like Fire Force, and this art makes really good card back. I really want to get some like this as a sleep. Anyway, I'm going to be showing how the game was originally going to be played, and then I'm going to be showing the new version, which there could be a newer version later, but for right now. So there is a shared deck between all players, and then all players start with 5 cards. I'm designing it with the idea that you can play a 4-player, but I'm only really balancing and testing it with 2. Yeah, so everybody starts with 5 cards in hand. And then the first phase is the feign phase. This also determines who is going first. So if the sun is facing down this way, then this player is going first. If the sun is up this way, then that player is. Now, I guess I could also do it like that. That'd be... Anyway. So during the feign phase, players will go back and forth, showing 3 potential cards they could be playing. And then the number in the top left is the... I don't know if I want to call it a cost, because there's -1s, but then there's +1s. I'm just going to call that the chaos modifier. -1, of course, makes this number go from 3 to 2. It's 3 to start. And then this will make it go down by 1, and then this will increase it by +1. You're not exactly spending it as a resource. I'm not really sure what to call it yet, because it pretty much is a resource, just one that could go negative. And then once it goes negative, you spend life. I'm trying to decide what to play with first. Maybe I'll go this one. Make him think I'm gonna mulligan his hand. Although this one does say target player, so I could even target myself with it if I wanted. But not yet. Strike doesn't mean yet. This is not the strike timing. Oh, this one's a pretty generic vanilla. We'll just show that. Okay, so they have... That's... I'm just going to call it power for now. So that's a 5, and this is a 3. Now, they're not... This one isn't the Lane Battler one. It isn't a Lane Battler one now, but I'm showing the original intent before I show what I updated it to. So that's a 5, and this is a 3. So they could potentially end up fighting each other, but they also might not. I'm going to show this card next. This is a +1 that starts off at 0, but has +6 power if I have a feign card. We'll talk about that later. So this player is going to assume that this is going to be a 6. We could just play... We could play this one, because at the start of every round, at the start of every action scene, we will be starting with 3 chaos, but then some cards might modify it. So this one will let me start with 4 instead of 3. But do I have a reason to have 4? I don't think so. I think we'll just show another vanilla. So now these are pretty much like... I could go -1 down to 2 and then back to 3 with this. So do I show another one of these? I think I will hide that I have that. This one will give me +1 curse, but also force me to give the opponent +1 curse. Or I can have them start... You know what? Yeah. We'll play this card. We'll show them that card. We're not playing them yet. We're just revealing. So this player's not going to really want to play either of these, but they are forced to reveal. But just because you reveal doesn't mean you have to play them. As we will get to, we'll just do this for the sake of showing how this works. So now both players have revealed 3 cards. These are the only cards you will be allowed to play this round, but you do not have to play them. So now we get to the part of... Actually, I guess we could call that the prep phase, and then this would be the actual feign phase. Now we get to the feign phase, where we organize these cards in the order of how we would like them to be played. Actually, I think it would make more sense if I did it like this, huh? Yeah, this... What you're seeing right now is kind of the reason why I'm not, why I'm changing how combat works. I just wanted to show this off first, because this is the first idea I had. Oh, the feigns are on top. So we can only keep 3 of these. So we want to have a feign card. But which card are we returning to hand? Do we want a mulligan? We don't need a mulligan. We can return this one to our hand. And I think that will be the only one we'll be feigning, so we'll return these. Just imagine that the opponent cannot see any of these. So now I've chosen the 3 cards that I actually want to play. One of them is a feign card, which is essentially an absolutely nothing card. In combat, it pretty much leaves me wide open, but it'll give me some card advantage, and it also allows me to use the ability of this card. Yeah, you start off with 5, but in future rounds, we will only be drawing 1 card. So you can be running out of cards really, really quickly. So sometimes you might want to feign, not just to keep a card for a future round, but also just to keep some card advantage. Because if you keep playing 3, you're eventually just gonna end up with less than 3. Now we have to decide the order. Well, this card has to be after a feign card in order for this to work. Yeah, we'll organize them in this way. Now the opponent is going to decide what they're going to want to play, and they're going to, again, just imagine the, we'll do it the way people would probably have to do it. Which is organizing it in the deck, where the top 3 would be the ones you don't play. So these are already the ones I don't want to play. Then the next 3, yeah, this order actually just works for showing purposes. So we'll be returning these 3 to the hand. And now that our war decks are created, now we will be taking turns revealing 1 at a time, and then the reveal cards will be battling each other with higher power, dealing damage to lower power. And then cards are revealed in turn order. So for example, first this one will be played. So this is a -2. I'm going from 3 chaos to 1 chaos. We are using the power of chaos. And then target opponents, there's only 1 opponent. We'll start the next action scene with 1 less curse. So they'll be at 2 next round. And then they'll reveal their card, which is a -1 with 5 power. So 5 is... No. Get back out there. 5 is greater than 3, 2 damage. And then this is a feign. This does absolutely nothing. They also played a feign. Nothing happens. +1. But this has a feign, so this is a... How'd you get over there? This gives me +1 chaos, and that has 6, and this is -1 and 5. So then we compare 6 to 5, -1, and then all feign cards are just return. I guess technically they would be put into the hand. But I'm just going to leave them out here for right now. And then all of the used up cards will go to the discard pile unless they have an effect that says otherwise. Both players would go back to 3. Well, this guy will go back to 2 because of the card effect. And then both players will draw 1 card in turn order. And then they would repeat. We would show each other 3 cards and then pick the cards we actually want to play and then replace the ones we don't want to play with a feign. And that would keep going until one player has 0. But that is not the current combat system. It just doesn't work really well in tabletop, especially. It probably wouldn't work very well in IRL either. I think it's unique and interesting, and I kind of want to keep it, but I also really want to stay at the top 10. I want to try to get higher than 8th. 8th is where I was for one pack game jam. I'm aiming for the top. And I think if I'm aiming for the top, I can't do a meme as much as I want to do memes. So now what I'll be showing off is the actual current battle system. I just wanted to show off the first one because I'm like, I thought of it and I want to show it off. This one, for those who remember, way back in the day of January of 2025, I submitted Soulway, and pretty much now how this will play is Soulway, but much, much better. Soulway didn't have a lot of knobs to turn. They were mainly just cards with meaning, the equivalent to power in this game, and an effect, and that's it. There was no cost. There was no other resource like chaos here. It was just you would both play cards back and forth, and that's how this works too, but this one is lane battler. So there will be 3 lanes, imagine, like lane 1, lane 2, lane 3. And my opponent and I will be playing cards back and forth. So bottom guy is going first. We will, we'll reveal this card on the left side. Now, our battling will be going from the left lane to the right lane, and then the left lane from the first player's perspective. So, zoop. So this is a -2 5 power in the left lane. Let's say I want to put a -2 3 power in the left lane. So now, right now, if this were to go through, this will be dealing 2 damage. My opponent might also be playing this -2. I'm going to keep this here, or actually what I can do, this is only a 3. What I can do is feign instead, which allows me to return this card to hand. So a feign card can replace a... Where'd it go? There it is. A feign card can replace one of these cards, but these cards cannot replace a feign card. So now that this feign is in this row, in this lane, I mean, I can no longer... That just stays there. Imagine it's glued there. So they're thinking, well, they're getting guaranteed 3 damage in this lane, but they also know I have a 5 power. So they're going to put this card in the middle. And currently they don't have a feign card, but that's fine, because this card will be checking when it's battling, and it's not battling yet. What I can do... This will just allow me to show off how ties work, which is how ties would work in the previous one as well. So these are both going to be at 6. Well, assuming he plays a feign card. And he's played that. Yeah, he's going to end up just, well, Taking 6 is a lot. Return that, just feign here. This is kind of my biggest concern, is that people would just be like, well, if my opponent feigns, I would just feign there as well. Although, if you really want to just deal damage, it would just stay there. I don't know. I'm kind of concerned about a lot of feign versus feign, but we'll see. I'll see how it plays out in future testing. The other good thing about feigning is that while you are giving up this lane, you're also letting your opponent fill up another lane, and then you can react better according to that. If it's a 6-6, I'm going to be taking some damage. How? We'll get there. So I'm going to play this 5 power card here. And then they'll play this because it's not like the other player having one more curse is going to help them. So then, now that all lanes are filled, once you have a lane filled, once you have all 3 lanes filled, you are allowed to start passing. So we will pass because we like our setup. And so all of their lanes are filled, so they can't play any other cards, but they are still allowed to replace with a feign. But are they going to? Yeah, they don't really want to take 5. So they'll also pass, and since both players have passed, now we would go from left to right and resolve all battles. So we have a feign versus a feign. Nothing happens. We have a 6 versus a 6. In the case of a tie, both players pretty much have 0 defense, and they will just straight up take the full damage of the other. So this will be 6. So this player will take 6, and this player will take 6. But the player going first deals the 6 first. This is just so that way if both players, if both players were at 6, this guy would deal the 6 first. And then this guy will also deal 6. This is just so there's not a whole lot of moments where players just stall the game. I want the game to keep moving. I don't want this to be a very long game where players just go, you played a 6, so I'm going to play a 6 to block you. Nope, there is no ties. If there is a tie, both players are just taking the full damage. And then here we have, oh, I forgot, before battle will be resolving, the effects will resolve, so this is +1, and then this gets to 6, and then this effect would resolve, which is +1, and then a 6. And then here, -2, recover 2 life, and then this is +1, give an opponent +1. And then 5 is greater than 4, -1. And then just like the war game, all the used cards go to the discard unless an effect says otherwise. Feign cards are returned. Players draw cards from the shared deck in turn order. And then that would be repeating until the game is over. I think the war one is more interesting, more unique. It's just too clunky. Whereas the 3-lane battler is more typical. It's a lot of people in this game jam are probably going to do a lane battler, but it just works for how I want to design my game. But man, I really want to do the war system. But yeah, this is day 2. Devlog 1 for the Rival Souls games 3 to start Game Jam. Hopefully I will be making more in the future as the days pass to keep up on progress. The cards right now that are designed don't really matter. They were just mostly filler for me to test the system. And I think the system works. I think, The war one is clunky just handling it, but I think it works. But I think the lane one I'll probably stick with, but we'll see. We will see.